Hello and welcome to Kevin's Commentary on Comics. Hey, did you know that Avengers Age of Ultron is coming out in just a few short weeks? Of course you did. We all know it. We can't avoid it. So since Ultron is the main villain in the latest Avengers movie, I wanted to talk about one of my favorite story arcs that featured Ultron. It is called The Bride of Ultron. Not only is it one of my favorite Ultron storylines, it's one of my favorite Avengers storylines of all time. Not my most favorite, but one of my favorites. As I've stated before, the Korvac saga is my favorite. We will talk about that later, but to set up the Korvac saga, we really have to talk about the Bride of Ultron as well. Now this storyline spans from Avengers 157 to Avengers 166. You can own your very own copy of this storyline in hardcover via Amazon as a printed format, or if you're a digital comics reader, you can get the collected edition on the Marvel Comics app, or read the individual issues if you are a Marvel Unlimited subscriber. And if you're not sure what Marvel Unlimited is, check out this video here where I explain it all in gory, in-depth detail. Well, there's not that much gore. Actually, there's really no gore at all. Now, this story is like over 35 years old. Oh, I'm so old. I'm gonna go ahead and throw up a spoiler alert. Don't really think it's necessary. Even if you've not read the story and you hear this, the appeal of comics is to read each panel, see the artwork, read the word balloons, and really kind of experience the whole thing. So let's jump in, shall we? So the whole story arc starts out with Avengers 157, A Ghost of Stone. And this is written by Jerry Conway and artist Don Heck. So the Black Knight attacks the Avengers, but wait a minute, this is not specifically the Black Knight. This is a stoned Black Knight. Not like, hey, the Black Knight smoked a couple dubs and went and fought the Avengers, man, let's go, hey, I'm hungry. No, not that type of stoned Black Knight. It is a Black Knight who is made of stone. Got it? So somehow this stone version of the Black Knight was animated and attacks the Avengers for, again, some unknown reason. Even though the stone Black Knight defeats the Avengers who are there, which consist of Captain America and Scarlet Witch and Wonder Man, the Vision ultimately takes him down, but not before setting up what will occur in the future episodes where the Vision starts questioning his humanity. Specifically, the Black Knight called the Vision a thing of synthetic flesh, and that apparently kind of hit at the heart of the Vision, and he ponders his humanity. Which goes right into Avengers 158, when Avengers clash. This one is written by Jim Shooter, who starts a very long tenure with the Avengers, and is drawn by the great Sal Buscema. So Avengers clash, but which Avengers, you ask? Well, it's none other than the Vision and Wonder Man. So it picks up where the Vision is canoodling his thoughts about his humanity after defeating the Stone Black Knight, and he sees Wonder Man come in with the Scarlet Witch on his arms as the Scarlet Witch asks for help from Wonder Man. Even though the Vision proclaims that he has relinquished his humanity, he strikes out at Wonder Man in what only could be described as a jealous fit. Robots don't experience jealousy, do they? So these two duke it out, neither one really getting the better hand because they're pretty evenly matched. I mean, if you think about it, the Vision can control his density so he can become intangible, or he can go as hard as diamond. He also has I-beams. Wonder Man, on the other hand, is super duper strong and invulnerable. He's even gone toe-to-toe with Thor, and a lot of times he's referred to his fist as hitting as hard as Thor's hammer. So they fight it out to a standstill, and finally the rest of the team comes in and stops them. Now, while this is going on, we're introduced to Frank Hall, who is known as Graviton. Hall is zapped by some experimental teleporter beam, and after an explanation of comic book science, he somehow gains the ability to control gravity. Immediately, he becomes super arrogant, maybe that's part of his powers, and he takes over the research facility for which he worked. Luckily, someone gets a call into the Avengers just before Frank Hall decides to take the entire research facility, lift it up into the ground, and create a floating island. You know, if you had that power, why would you not do that? So the Avengers arrive and begin battling Graviton, and for someone who just got these powers, he sure seems to know how to use them pretty good. In fact, I remember one scene where Graviton increases the weight of Captain America's shield and it almost crushes him. Graviton takes out the rest of the Avengers and proclaims he will rule the world because that's what you do. Moving on to Avengers 159, Siege by Stealth and Storm, which is also helmed by Shooter and Buscema. Graviton has the Avengers captured, and the research facility workers who Graviton had imprisoned try an uprising but fail, and Graviton sends them all down to Earth off his floating island, except for one, Judy, who he does seem to have the hots for. The floating island makes his way over New York City, and Jarvis, not having much faith in his employers, assume they are all dead. Enter Black Panther and Thor. They proceed to go after Graviton, leaving Jarvis alone in his thoughts, thinking they also serve who only stand and wait. Okay, so now I was about 10 years old when this came out, and that quote kind of stuck with me for pretty much my entire life. Who says you can't learn something from funny books? Thor tries to throw some lightning at Graviton, but Graviton's force field blocks it. Meanwhile, the rest of the Avengers who are stuck on a stone wall are rescued by the Black Panther, and they engage Graviton in battle. But Graviton just simply encases them all in a force field so they can't get out. You know, it seems regardless of what powers a villain has, force fields that either protect him or capture others, it's always part of their arsenal. While Graviton gloats, he notices that his bae, Judy, is now missing. He follows discarded jewelry to the edge of the floating city where it appears that she has jumped off. Now, you've really got to not want to be with a guy where you think suicide is much more preferable to being with said person, even if he is a power-mad crazy man. So from Graviton's perspective, that really had to sting, and obviously it did, because Graviton went berserk and loses complete control of his powers. The floating island breaks into pieces and is pulled toward him as if he's a black hole, creating this giant earth orb thing that falls toward New York City. The Avengers manage to get off the island before all this happens, land in New York City, manage to catch the ball, and throw it into the ocean. Oh, and it turns out that Judy did not fall to her death. Jarvis didn't just sit around and wait. He got a sky sled, managed to save her while she was falling. Happy ending. Happy ending. Hey guys, that's the first part of my multi-part look at the epic saga that is the Bride of Ultron. Tune into future episodes where I review the rest of this grand adventure. We'll be talking about the Grim Reaper, Count Nefaria, the Lethal Legion, and of course, the evil mechanical menace that is Ultron. There's no strings on him. Click subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. Bye!